Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 here in Memphis, Tennessee, and all you good folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and FM 95.3. And, of course, in News Talk 101.5 in Jackson, Tennessee. We're rounding up today's show. And, guys, John Gordon and Ron Wong in studio. Of course, Shelby McCall taking care of us. And, you know, we get down to the end, and we've kind of finished in a flurry here with women, which I like to talk about on this show. And their stories to tell.
Not only the stories, but they are really, really becoming a big part of the outdoor scene.
Well,
whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, whatever,
or shooting now,
shooting, absolutely.
Shooting is big in Tennessee, and a lot of the reason is because of the Scholastic Clay Target Program. And we've got on the line with us this morning Andrew Piercy. He is the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program Manager for our good friends at the Tennessee Federation, Wildlife Federation. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Larry. You doing all right?
I'm doing great. I wanted to finish this show out, Andrew, and appreciate Nate West and all you good folks Obel there that keep me posted and try to keep me straight, which is pretty hard to do when you've been doing this for as long as I have. And we got a special young lady on our show with us this morning. Can you kind of introduce Emily to our listeners?
Yes, sir. Be happy to. Emily Ferguson shoots on our St. Mary's team, and I'll kind of let her tell her story, but she's been a real inspiration to all of us and turned out to be a really good, one of our top-notch female shooters, and especially out of the Memphis area. So I'll let her kind of tell more of her details, but we're really happy to have her and her family in the program. They've been a tremendous asset to us.
Well, we've got Emily Ferguson on the line with us. Thanks to Andrew and all the good folks over at the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
All right. 17 years old, going to turn 18 in June. Lives in Eads, a student at St. Mary Episcopal School. And if that's all we knew about you, we wouldn't know the whole story. So I think it's up to you to kind of fill in the gaps. How you got to be where you are. I don't think trap shooting was in your vocabulary too many years ago, and a lot of things have happened to you in your young life. Walk our listeners through, let's talk about the physical side of what's happened to you.
All right, so I guess the beginning for the physical side would be when I was 18 months old. I was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, which is actually a rare form of eye cancer that most often affects young children.
Uh-huh.
And through my treatment, obviously I don't remember it, my parents opted to, instead of letting me keep my right eye, even though we had finished treatment, there was a higher risk of it coming back.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So they opted just to remove it, and so now I've only got my left eye, which hasn't caused any problems for me.
Okay.
But then I was doing fine, just growing up with that. But then when I was 11, I was in 5th grade, and I found this mass under my arm.
Okay.
And my parents thought it was maybe a swollen lymph node or something. Well, I waited a few weeks, and I went back down. I actually remember asking them in their room. I was like, hey, it's gotten bigger.
Uh-huh.
So one day after school, went to my pediatrician and took blood tests and then they scheduled me for an MRI or an X-ray. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
Then I remember it was like after hours. There was no one else in the clinic, and they took my mom aside and they told her they didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And so my mom mentioned to them that I've had my past with St. Jude.
Yes.
And they said, it'll be a good idea for you to go see them.
So that's where you went. Yeah.
Lo and behold, I had Ewing's, which is a bone cancer, another more rare cancer, and it had grown out of my third and fourth ribs under my left arm.
Yeah.
And by the time we found it, the mass was quite large. It
big.
It invaded my right lung. Sorry, my right side, not my left side. My right lung.
Okay.
And had started to push my heart over. So we had to do 9 months of chemotherapy, and then after that, 6 weeks of daily radiation. And then we were done after having my 2 ribs removed.
2 ribs removed. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you through all of this, and I know the folks at St. Jude are unbelievable. I've got to ask you, and as Andrew listens to this, how in the world did you get into trap shooting then? I mean, you've been through all this. Tell our listeners that story, because of what you've overcome, and particularly as she is joked, her dominant eye is her left eye, because that's the only one she's got. So talk about that.
Well, we have this activity fair at my school called Derby Day. It's for the high school.
Derby Day,
and that's
okay.
where you sign up. Yeah, so you sign up for the clubs, and you do this field day, like outdoor stuff.
So you
don't really have classes.
You just signed up for trap shooting.
I did. I saw the booth. I was like, I didn't know we had a trap team. And I was like, that sounds like guns. My dad likes to hunt. Maybe we should do that.
Okay.
And it was a completely just a whim. I signed up. And
wow.
I remember I was at the dinner table when I told my dad, by the way, I signed up for trap. Oh, he was over the moon. My dad was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
He took me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He took me to the trap field that same weekend and was like, hey, I've never shot trap before, but we're going to try this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And he's adamant, even though I don't remember this, that I hit my first target.
You hit your very first target. So how old were you then? I mean, how long has this been ago?
Well, I'm in my 3rd season now.
Third season. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you were about...
Yeah, I was 15.
15. Okay. I guess you went to the Memphis Sports Shooting Association range? Is that where you went?
Mm-hmm.
And
we shoot there on Saturdays and at the Shelby Farms range on Monday.
Right. And the Shelby Farm range on Monday. So did it come easy?
Well, I'll have to say yes and no.
Okay.
Because I had shot rifles before. Not really the same thing, but I knew how I had been around a gun before, so I wasn't nervous.
Yeah, you've
say as much as the new shooter would be.
Your dad deer hunts. I mean, things like this, and so the difference on that, and so you become part of the St. Mary's team, and Andrew, talk about what she's accomplished in a short period of time.
She's accomplished quite a bit. I think in her first year, she was, the highest shooting athlete on her team. She started breaking team records. She came up and was shooting 96 average at a lot of our different competitions and won a JV award. And then she also started participating in our Junior Olympics. Most of what the SCTP does is the American-style games, but we've kind of helped foster the Junior Olympics here in Tennessee where they do bunker trap. And she's got involved in that and done really well with it and worked with a good coach, Jim Dickerson, out of Missouri.
Yeah.
And she's really had a lot of success there as well.
And I know, Emily, you do this also, I guess, the stress to other kids your age or whatever it might be that don't give up attitude. Is that part of your makeup?
Well, I certainly hope so. But, yeah, I don't, especially with this sport, because it's very easy to get in your head. And once you start to miss, you start to question yourself.
Yeah.
You just got to realize that you're not going to be perfect every single time you shoot, and that's with any sport. But definitely don't give up on what you love to do. And
your routine. We've had a lot of Olympians on this team. Kim Rohde, one of the famous shotgunners, a 5-time Olympian, and things along that line. What is your routine when you get on that line and it's time to go to work?
Well,
Do you block everything out? And do you have a certain thing that you do?
Yeah, I kind of do. And Jim's actually helped me with that recently. We've changed some of my routine with him.
Really?
And so I mount the gun differently in that when I get to the line, and I am a left-handed shooter.
Yes.
I get to the line and I mount the gun standing straight up, and I hold for a few seconds before I lean forward to what's called nose over toes, to where
nose over
you're
toes.
Basically,
yeah,
you're basically falling over by the time you're shooting. But yeah, I make sure to breathe, and I make sure to see my target broken before I shoot, and that really helps me focus in.
Well, I mean, I know what's ahead for you. What's next? What's your goals here?
Well, I'd really love to shoot a 100 trait, but that would just happen this year, maybe. I hope so. I have applied to go to the Junior Olympic Development Camp. That would be super exciting, and I hope I'll qualify again for the Junior Olympics.
How is your health? How is your health now?
I've finished my last round of treatment for the Ewing that is in my lung. I've actually finished, and I'm doing great.
Great. That's
I've got a little
got
hair on my head.
What did you say?
I've got hair on my head now.
Oh, okay. You got hair on your head now. A lot of us take that for granted, and some people don't take it for granted because they don't have any to begin with. But, again, we're talking to Emily Ferguson, St. Mary's Episcopal School. What's your guys' nickname? You're not the Turkeys, are you?
Oh, we are the Turkeys.
Yes.
We're not fancy about it.
Huh? I love the turkey. This is turkey season now. You know, I mean, it is a spring turkey season. Andrew, we got to let Emily go and get back to you. A quick comment from you, Andrew, about what Emily has been as far as inspiration for others.
Emily's been a huge inspiration. I know she's inspired a lot of her other teams. I know some of the things, stories she got told to me from up at Nationals. It was raining. Everybody was complaining about that, and they hadn't had a chance to get out there to the targets and were complaining about the weather. And one of the things we try to work with the athletes and the coaches on is, control what you can control and learn how to deal with what you can't. And she stepped up there and said, look, if y'all knew what I'd been through to even get here, you wouldn't be complaining about the rain. You wouldn't be complaining about this. You wouldn't be complaining about that. And they walked out, and they shot one of the best scores on the day.
Cool.
She shot one of the top scorers from Tennessee that day.
That's cool. Well, she's a proud turkey. I can tell you that for a fact. Emily, thank you for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We applaud you. Wish you nothing but success. Andrew, keep those kids going over there, and
we will.
We'll stay in touch. Thank you, Emily. Okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Emily Ferguson. We got to get out of here. Well, what about that? We're going overtime, but is that not?
It's incredible. Like you said, it's all in perspective. You go through struggles like that. I mean, things like weather become very trivial.
Yeah, and Ron, you know St. Jude research as bad as anybody, and
it's
what a story.
Not only a story, but an inspiration.
Wow.
To all of us.
Yeah.
To keep moving on, and there is nothing that you can't overcome if you don't try.
Well, she is an inspiration. I thought you guys would like that closing segment.
It's awesome.
Right there. That's it. Shelby, thank you. I know we're running over. Thank you, all you folks out there. Lord willing, we'll be on the air next week. Frank Barton will be in here. Tim Huffman, we're going to talk a little crappie fishing. I want to try, when Ron comes back on his bonus wong later in the month, we'll maybe do a whole lot more crappie fishing segments, Ron. We'll work on that together and everything. This is Larry Ray reminding you each and every week. It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and
God bless the USA.